So in this video, I wanted to briefly talk about this pen. It's called the CountyComm Embassy pen, and this is the version that is sold in PEI, or Ultem as they call it. The Embassy pen is a pretty famous machined pen. It's been around a long time, and typically you would see it in brass. I think it's also sold in titanium and sometimes copper and a bunch of other materials. This one is made of a plastic called polyethyramide, or PEI. The branded version of that material is called Ultem. And basically, it's a very hard, tough, chemical resistant plastic, and it's almost always seen in this sort of amber color. I've looked at a few different pens out of PEI, and it's also used for, like eyeglasses and fidget spinners and other things that use or can benefit from a really high-end, tough plastic. This pen sells for $60. You would buy it directly from CountyComm, and they sell all sorts of different kind of like everyday carry type goods, supplies like that. And they have been known for their Embassy pens. It's a long line of pens and multiple generations for each material. I think this is either the Gen 2 or Gen 3, can't exactly remember, in that PEI. And all of the Embassy pens are similar. You see some different upgrades to the features and some different markings here, but essentially they're very similar. It's a capped, so a rollerball style. It's a screw-on. They use, I think at some point they used Fisher refills, but now they're using basically Parker-style G2 refills. In this case, it came with a Schmidt EasyFlow 9000, which is a pretty cool option for a pen like this. They have a titanium clip, and then all PEI. Usually there's some sealing here on the screw material. It's like locks down very nicely. It's watertight and all that. See some nice little torque screws there. It's pretty tough, and then very much free of any sort of features. The only real feature or kind of marking on it is this right here. You see a cage number, so it's not like an NSN or something like that, just like their cage number. That way, I don't know how useful that is, but it makes it look very cool and militaristic. Okay, so let's get into some of the pen specifics. We see kind of a, I don't know, like a torpedo shape, rounded on both ends, no finials or anything like that. There's that big clip. This is a tough clip, right? This is like for outdoors use, and you can barely even get your finger under it. It's just a really hefty piece of titanium. So it's fine for using with pants or something like that, or a bag. You see how raised it is there? That's in case there's a big ridge or something on what you're putting in. So the clip works really well. It's probably too tough for day-to-day, using with a shirt in the office or whatever, but it's fine for kind of outdoorsy use or making sure it really stays on a backpack. It's a twist pen, so if you tighten it down too much, it's going to be hard to open. Just straight up, it's going to be hard to open. So you don't want to twist it down too much if you're using it a lot. If you want to, seal it for a week or two, or take it outside in the rain, then yeah, seal it down. Generally, don't over tighten it. Unscrews. It's a lot of twists. Again, that's for the sealing and the outdoors use, not ideal for everyday use. If you see some nicer fountain pens, usually you want to get like one full rotation to get it out. This one is like, 1, 2, 2.5, 3. Anyway, it's not a big deal, but it's just more rotations to get it out. There's that cap. Very simple, nice materials, well made. I think it's hand polished Ultem, so that's all really nice. It's very good consistency. Does not post. So just early on, if you're interested in posting your pen, this thing does not post. You got to find a place to put this cap. Ideally, you're clipping it on, right? No finial, no markings, no logos, nothing like that. It's like pretty clear, so you can see what refills in there, and you can open it up. 2 pieces here, no O-ring or anything like that. Again, it's just, I think maybe the first gen had O-rings. I can't quite remember. Here it is. This is just a very lightweight little part. Again, made well. It has little indentations here, and then long ridges. I think if you buy the Gen 3, it'll be a little bit different, and the Gen 2 is a little different, and there is a little O-ring here. So the front is sealed, and it did ship with, I think, 1 or 2 of these spare little O-rings here. That does not come with the refill. That's part of the pen, and again, that just creates a little seal right here in that shoulder, right there. No spring, nothing like that. So you're basically stuck with a Parker style or G2 refill, but again, that's fine for pretty much everyone. And then there is that grip. It's pretty well ridged with the lines, so it's, I would say, like good for glove use and things like that. Typically, you're not holding it up here, you're holding it down here. So the grip up here doesn't make a huge difference, but again, it is like outdoorsy and it does look quite nice. The refill again is the Easy Flow 9000 in medium, so very standard refill. We've talked about this refill many times on this channel. It's a good refill for writing inside on paper. It's not a great refill for outdoors use. So again, if you're using this just inside day-to-day writing, great refill and great choice. If you were going to use this outside in the way you would use such a rugged pen, I would say probably swap out this refill, get a Fisher Space Pen PR4, standard Fisher pressurized refill, and they come with a little cap on it that converts that Fisher proprietary shape to a Parker refill or Parker sized refill. Then you'll have something that could write in any conditions, hot, cold, underwater, whatever. So that Fisher refill is probably a better fit for this, or you could use like a Uni Power Tank refill, but Easy Flow again is really just for like indoor day-to-day use. It's a nice, smooth, hybrid style refill, like a ballpoint, but hybrid style. It's not well suited for outdoor use. It's not reliable enough. It's a good writer. It's a little bit skinny on the grip area, kind of comes with the territory, and there's a lot of threading here, so often you're kind of holding that threading or near that threading, but this bottom grip area is long enough. That's not a major problem. I would say from a comfort standpoint, this pen is solid, nothing to worry about there. You know, the main things I would say about it is it's comfortable hold. It's a nice size, maybe a little bit small, and you can't post it to make it bigger. Good width. I like all the grips and stuff like that. It just looks cool, feels cool from like a tactile standpoint. And then it doesn't post, so that's gonna be a problem for some people. The color is gonna be an issue for some people. It's sort of like a weird orange yellow, and that's just kind of comes with the territory with the PEI or the Ultem or the polyethyramide, whatever you want to call it. It's always this sort of amber color, and it's kind of cool sometimes. It's kind of a weird off color as well. So if you said, oh, I like it, it's orange, great. If you said, man, that just looks like a moldy banana or something, I'd be like, yeah, you're not too far off either. Color is kind of going to fall to individual personal preference. I would say, like, I like the material, but I don't love the color. It just kind of is what it is. Lastly, I just want to really quickly compare it to the kind of more popular PEI pen that's sold on eBay and like AliExpress and stuff like that. This one, I don't even know if it has a brand associated with it. I think it's made by just someone in China, and they're selling it under a bunch of other brands. And this is sort of like the generic PEI pen. I believe it's real PEI. I don't think that's a problem. I just don't think it's sold by any like mainstream company. This one's sold in a fountain pen and a rollerball. CountyComm does not sell a fountain pen. Again, I don't know how often anyone would need a ruggedized fountain pen, so I don't really blame CountyComm for just sticking with kind of what they know, but it's the same body. So if you're interested in a comparison between the CountyComm and this generic PEI pen, I didn't want to do the video without it. The generic one is a same length. This one's a little bit wider. This one has kind of flat top, ridged back. CountyComm uses a more classic titanium clip. This one uses a machined titanium clip that looks kind of has this screwdriver type end, and then it's like pretty nice. I actually prefer the look of this one, but it's not practical. The CountyComm's is very practical. This one goes right under your pants or whatever, will go right under this. It works really well. This one, it looks great. It's not practical. It's still pretty stiff. It's not quite as stiff as the CountyComm, but getting under it is a big challenge. This one does have the O-ring here, which I don't think is necessary anymore, so that just adds another wear point to it. And this one, I think when you take it apart, there's another O-ring here. So again, if you don't need it, this one uses coarser threads with an O-ring. CountyComm has moved to finer threads. I would prefer the finer threads just because that's one less thing to wear out. Finding, like, I don't keep spares of this O-ring around. As far as the general build quality go, I would say they're both on par. CountyComm, I think it feels like it has a little bit more heft to it. Maybe they use a slightly thicker PEI, at least that's how it feels to me. This pen is skinnier and thinner, so kind of like depends what you want. This has a full satin finish. This one is slightly polished, so I do like the satin. It's just kind of less shiny and less flashy. So if you want a ruggedized pen that uses a Parker style refill, you always have the CountyComm Embassy available. I've used it now in titanium, brass, and PEI. I don't think I've ever used the copper or any of the weirder materials. And my favorite is this PEI. It's 60 bucks, which I think is a fair deal. Not cheap, but fair. And I like the weight of this PEI, and it is quite tough. So for day-to-day use, you never really have to worry about this pen, even dropping it or getting it wet, anything like that. The color is like unpleasant, I'll say, but I could deal with it. Maybe you like it. And it's a nice pen. It's highly available, and I think it's a really good deal. It's really cool that it comes in that Parker style refill. I think it's quite useful. I really do prefer the PEI over the brass or the copper or any of those. They're just too heavy for me, and I don't think they're practical day to day. They're too heavy to put in a pocket or anything like that, and just unpleasant to have a 75-gram pen on you at any time. It's a good deal, and it's fun to use. Thanks for watching.